Have you ever noticed that everyone talks about saving for a down payment? It's all over YouTube. Save 3%, save 5%, save 20%. Nobody tells you what happens after that. I've had buyers walk into my office excited because they finally hit their savings goal. They thought they were ready. They had their down payment sitting in the bank and figured the hardest part was over. Then we started looking at the numbers. I've watched that excitement disappear in about 5 minutes. Not because they couldn't afford the house, because nobody had ever explained everything else that comes with buying one. And before you think I'm trying to scare you away from home ownership, I'm not. I want you to avoid the mistake I see over and over again. There's one cost near the end that catches almost everyone off guard. It's the one that causes the most stress after closing. We'll get there. Let's start with the first surprise, the inspection. Most inspections cost a few $100s. When buyers hear that, some wonder if they can skip it and save the money. Please don't. Think about what you're buying. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on one of the biggest purchases of your life. Spending a few $100s to have someone crawl through the attic, test the electrical system, inspect the roof, and look for problems isn't where I'd look to save money. I've seen inspections uncover hidden water damage, foundation issues, failing furnaces, leaking roofs, and plumbing problems that buyers never would have noticed during a 20-minute showing. Sometimes the inspection saves the deal. Sometimes it saves the buyer from making a huge mistake. Either way, it's money well spent. Then comes the closing costs. This is where people usually stop me. Wait, I thought my down payment covered everything. No. Your down payment pays your equity. Closing costs pay for everything it takes to get the transaction across the finish line. Loan fees, title work, attorney fees, recording fees, prepaid taxes, insurance. Depending on the home and your loan program, closing costs can easily add several $1,000s to what you've already saved. That's why I always tell buyers not to focus on one number. The down payment is only part of the picture. Now, let's talk about something nobody budgets for because it doesn't sound expensive. Moving. Seriously, you think moving is going to cost a couple $100? Then the receipts start piling up. The moving truck, boxes, packing supplies, cleaning products, pizza for the friends helping you move, new locks, window blinds, a lawnmower if you've never owned one, a few pieces of furniture because your apartment couch suddenly looks tiny in your new living room. One purchase doesn't hurt. Then you finally get the keys. You're standing in your new house thinking, we made it. And that's when the house starts introducing itself. Maybe the water heater decides it's done. Maybe the refrigerator starts working. Maybe the garage door won't open. Homes don't know you emptied your savings account to buy them. Things break anyways. That's why I never want my buyers spending every dollar they have just to get into the house. Owning a home without an emergency fund is stressful. You're constantly hoping nothing goes wrong. That's not how I want anyone to feel after buying their first home. Here's another surprise. Escrow. Your lender may collect money every month for property taxes and homeowner's insurance. Some buyers don't realize part of their monthly payment isn't paying down their mortgage. It's setting money aside for those future bills. Understanding how escrow works before closing helps avoid a lot of confusion later. Then there are utility deposits. You may need to set up electric, gas, water, internet, trash service. Sometimes deposits are required. Sometimes connection fees pop up. Individually, they're not huge. Together, they're another reminder that buying a home comes with expenses most people never think about until moving week. Now remember when I said I'd save the biggest one for the end? Here it is, the emergency fund. Technically, nobody sends you a bill for it. Nobody asks for it at closing. Nobody forces you to have it. And that's exactly why so many buyers ignore it. The 6 months later, the furnace quits. The roof starts leaking. A tree falls during a storm, or life happens. The buyers who enjoy home ownership the most aren't always the ones who bought the biggest house. They're the buyers who still have money in the bank after closing. Buying a house shouldn't leave you wondering how you're going to pay for the next surprise. It should give you a peace of mind. If you're saving for your first home, don't ask yourself one question. Don't ask, do I have enough for a down payment? Do ask, do I have enough to own the house after I buy it? That question changes everything. If you're thinking about buying your first home here on the South Coast of Massachusetts and you want someone to walk you through these numbers before you start shopping, I'd be happy to help. And don't click away yet. The next video explains why your mortgage pre-approval might be the most dangerous numbers you'll ever receive, because getting approved for more money doesn't mean you should spend it.